Hey everybody, we're back on the Timeless After Show. We're breaking down, excuse me, we're breaking down my cough right now. But we're also going to break down Season 1, Episode 11, the world's Columbian Exposition. Find out if Wyatt and Rufus, holy cow, have I been drinking? Maybe. We'll find out later in this episode. But can Wyatt and Rufus find Lucy? Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Look at that. A nice little jaunty intro.
She's getting ready for her dance review. This is it.
You know.
Well, Kari Lane does have a dance review coming up. Well, I guess we'll find out about how people you can see it.
I want to know what she's wearing.
If you're a fan of Timeless After Show, we get a chance to see Kari Lane in person. But hey, everybody, welcome. We're back. It's 2017, and the Timeless After Show is back right here on AFTERBUZZ TV. As always, we're going to continue our breaking down of Season 1 of Timeless right here on AFTERBUZZ. I'm one of your hosts, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie.
And hey guys, my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane, and we are live in the chat. I'm happy to see you guys already talking. And if you're watching this later, though, comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this awesome episode.
Yes. Now, is Nurse Jackie a serial killer too?
I've never seen the show. So
Oh, you did Happy Go Jackie. I thought Nurse Jackie, and then I thought
No.
serial killer. Then I put these connections together. I'm Chris Howard. Reach me at Chris Howard Live on Twitter and Instagram. I got a whole lot to say about nothing.
Our fourth member there of the Timeless After Show crew, Alexis Torres, is going to be doing she's on sabbatical for a couple weeks, but don't worry, she will be back.
She went to
before you know
1890.
it. That's right. She's lost some time. We still haven't found her. We'll keep looking though. But in the meantime, folks, you can like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and as Kari mentioned, hop in the chat. You're already doing it already, so thank you so much for joining. Feel free to comment on the series in general or this episode in particular. And let's just jump right into it. I mean, we're reunited after the nice little winter hiatus there.
Yes.
We kind of left on a really cool cliffhanger where we saw Lucy had been taken by Flynn somewhere in time, who knows where, who knows when. And now it's up to Wyatt and Rufus to track down and see where she is.
Yep.
I'm surprised they found her so quick. Because that's.
I'm glad about that.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
Oh,
though,
yeah,
you
it
know,
would have been like
we wouldn't want to see them
dragging it
split.
out if we did an episode where we're like, well, we can't find
They're
her.
not together,
But
yeah, for a couple
no,
episodes.
I'm glad they found it.
Yes.
Quickly.
Yeah, and we don't have many more episodes left in the season, so if we had
Yeah.
dragged that out,
Is it
then
14?
16.
16, okay.
Yeah.
So we got 6
IMDb
more.
is not being
Or
up
5
to date
more.
on it.
But we find though that when Wyatt and Rufus get back to the present, though, they are just letting Mason and everybody else know, like, guess what? Flynn's got Lucy. He's been hopping all around because he's got the nuclear cell in his mothership, so he's able to get around much
So
faster.
that mother doesn't need to charge like the other.
That's right.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, because it was
It was a little play on words.
Yes.
Yes.
The thing about it, though, is like the jumping around all the different times is checking out stuff. It's kind of annoying when they're just like, he has Lucy. What do you mean? Literally that statement.
Yes.
He has Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah, explain it to us.
He has a picture.
Well, he has it. He took her.
Lucy.
Same
But
word.
where's Lucy? Why isn't she in the ship? Yeah, there was a little.
Yeah, you're just like,
But I do like, because it's something that we've kind of addressed now in terms of, can Flynn go back to a time that he's been kind of involved in? And he tries to go back.
and he did.
Yeah, try to get close to Rittenhouse again to try
Yeah.
to kill him, and he can't even get close now. He has no way to get in. Doesn't have Benedict Arnold this time around. He can't.
Yeah.
Even his semi-automatics, as it says, aren't up to snuff against 50 muskets.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting.
So they've really protected this John Rittenhouse, right? The boy.
Yes.
Yes.
And
That's
what's
so
happening,
they
yeah.
can't, and Lucy can't even find him somewhere in time. He's hidden himself very well.
I think the son is part of it, but I do agree with what Lucy said, that there's a lot of other people too. So it's not just like, we didn't kill him, Rittenhouse is over. And actually, I wondered if it's one of those like Macbethian things of, in killing his father, did that make the son want to do it more?
Right.
Yeah, that could very well be
In
true.
seeing how his father died, he's like, well, now I'm really going to carry it on. And like, he might not have done it before. The same
Kind of
way.
like Hydra, you cut off one head, you get 2 more that grow, right?
Yeah, but it also feels like perhaps I think maybe Flynn went back too late, because if he has all these acolytes that could just easily take up after
Yeah,
him,
just go a
he
little
should have
earlier.
gone. Yeah, should have gone a little earlier when. The consequences may have been able to easily been more stoppable.
Yeah.
Sure.
But now Flynn says, "Hey, guess what, Lucy? You're gonna help me. I'm gonna go find every single member of Rittenhouse. I'm gonna kill them one person at a time." Sounds like a fun trip, huh?
Doesn't
That
it make
takes
sense to go back?
forever.
Doesn't it make sense to go back a little bit earlier and just get the one guy though? Still.
They should have maybe gone back before that one guy was even born. Like,
Yeah, that one
get
guy.
Rittenhouse killed before
Yeah.
he's
Yes.
like even born or something like that.
But that's all right. That's where it's
Yeah,
at.
head back to the early 1700s.
Yeah.
And take care of him, and maybe that might be an option at some point. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that's the deal. But now the deal is we have to. Our team's got to wait 4 hours for them to
They
recharge.
have to
Or to
recharge.
charge.
Yeah, and so certainly the other big element that I'm glad they addressed right away is that Rufus deciding, hey, you know what, I'm not doing these recordings anymore, and now he's got to tell Connor, I'm not recording these because we also
Yeah.
have Flynn kill Rittenhouse.
And didn't we also talk about, like, they can time travel? The fact that they have to wait 4 hours shouldn't matter.
Yeah, yeah, cause,
That's true.
Because you're going to time travel back
In
to
the
another
way.
time.
Yes.
Why?
But it frustrates you. You have to sit. He has to sit in the knowledge and the
That I
awareness
can understand.
that
Where
the
they're
girl
like
he's
twiddling
falling
their
in love
thumbs,
with,
and he's
because I
like,
think Wyatt's fallen in love with Lucy. I think it's going that direction. Is in
You
the hands
know,
of Flynn.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
got to be tough.
a lack of fourth dimensional thinking here on the show. Come on, guys, get it together. But I do like when so the main target right now is that Flynn takes Lucy back to the Chicago World's Fair back in 1893, which is one of my favorite time periods. So I was really excited to see them back here in this episode.
Were you satisfied with how they portrayed it? We didn't get much of the fair, though.
No, because I'm from that area, so just to see some of the architecture that's still around there from when the actual fair happened, I've always loved that part of the city. So very cool to be back in parts of it. So
It looked like a set, like at Universal Studios where they've got that long walkway that's just a picture, and it looks like it's 3-dimensional. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it kind of looked like that.
Yeah.
But it's like I've only been to state fairs. You've been to state fair?
yes,
Yeah.
I'm state fairs.
But never the World's Fair, right? Could you
No.
imagine?
Well, when was the last World's Fair?
I don't know. I know my dad went to one when I was growing up.
Like, they don't still happen, right?
I don't know if they still do. I should
I don't
check that
think
out.
they do.
They should.
They should. It's a very interesting idea.
It is.
And like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably more exciting then because it's long before internet and massive communication. So like, that's how you learned about things around the world. But it still seems like a cool idea.
Well, especially when, as Rufus and White are about to get in there, Rufus starts reading a laundry list of accomplishments that kind of took place right there at the World's Fair to Wyatt. So we've got Hershey's Chocolate, Cream of Wheat, Aunt Jemima, Cracker Jacks, Susan B. Anthony, Teddy Roosevelt, Helen Keller, all right there at this. That's
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon, yep. I'm like, that's like, oh man, just like these things that we just take for granted right now. Just like, oh wait, they had their own little origin story, and that's kind of cool. So many
They
of them
won the
happened.
blue ribbon at the fair.
Like, oh, that right. I never realized that. Okay. But Wyatt trying to figure out what Flynn's move is, to figure like, oh, I guess he's probably going to go for Teddy Roosevelt. That's a smart gameplay, at least for right now. That's a big. He's going to be president in 8 years, so it
Makes
seems to
sense.
make sense to do
Yeah.
that. But we really know that Flynn's objective is to go get Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and J.P. Morgan. They're all going to have this meeting, and Flynn wants to kill all
And
of
they're
them.
all part of Rittenhouse.
Yeah. So that's the goal. So
Yes.
Lucy, if you can help me, I do like that because they have that little talk for a second about this journal and what the journal said, and that like you said that we were going to help each other. And I feel like it's interesting because time is changing. I think if you're taking a journal from the
Oh,
future,
we talked about
Right.
this, yes.
yeah, and
Does
now
the
that you're
journal
using
change?
it,
Yeah.
but now that you're using it in the present. You're having all this knowledge of the future, so that doesn't mean you can't. It's not a guaranteed certainty now. People are going to react differently to now that this journal from the future is now in play in the present. I
Yes.
think people's reactions to it are going to be different, which is going to change the outcome of this journal.
If he's really
it
saying that we're going to
never-
be a team,
yeah.
why doesn't he just show her what she wrote?
Like, read it. Let her sit and read
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
And,
she has read the journal before. He gave it to her in the
Completely?
first episode. I don't know from beginning to end, but she
I
has
think it was
read it.
back when she was Abraham Lincoln. I think she was.
I know she saw it in her hand. Oh, you're right, because
Yeah.
she said, it says
it's her handwriting, but she's like, doesn't matter. But I was wondering if, since it stays with the lifeboat, that's why it doesn't change. Otherwise, I would think there would be adjustments that would happen in it, like it would change as time changes.
Yeah, and even if it is in the lifeboat and it doesn't change, still bringing it into a different time period and letting people have knowledge of their future is going to change how people are going to react in the present.
Yeah. Like, or if anything, even being told about it, she might simply refuse to ever write it in the first place.
Yeah. So I think Flynn is realizing that, as he said in this episode, that, I mean, if this is useless to me or this isn't true, then you're useless. And if you can't help me, then you're expendable now. So I feel like he's really realizing that he can't rely on this journal to be like this absolute certainty that he always thought it was going to be. Like, oh, I'll get this
Yeah.
journal. It tells me the future. I'm set. I just follow this. And then there you go. Rittenhouse is dead and my family's back. And
Right.
I think even he's realizing it is way harder than he intended.
Yeah, he looked frustrated in this episode. We got to see a frustrated Flynn.
Oh, yeah. He was super
Yeah.
like, this isn't working the way I want. You're like, well, too bad.
Yeah.
And what I do like as soon as Wyatt and Flynn get back and they find Roosevelt, I did like just the convenience of that, which is great because it's just
there he
a
is,
storyline. It's
Roosevelt.
like, oh, there's one of Flynn's guys. Oh, we were right. Let's follow this guy. All right.
Right. That did
Joke
seem.
about Roosevelt being skinny too. That was funny.
I do like that. Yeah, it's always like seeing somebody in real life, like, oh, I didn't realize.
Well,
Okay.
he's also younger, so maybe as time went on,
No, that's true. I mean, I guess if you think of
Where
Roosevelt,
there's just not many images of him prior.
yeah, and you're thinking more of his presidential story,
Yeah.
where he's a little bit bigger and burly.
Yes.
But not to see that svelte Rosie.
But it was interesting that they found Flynn's guy so easily, and it seemed like, oh, well, that was too easy.
Neither of
But
them were
then
suspicious about it too. They're
Yeah.
like, well, we found him easily.
it was a setup. Yeah.
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 But
Dun, dun,
I wouldn't have been
dun.
suspicious either. I don't think I would have fallen right into that trap.
True, but it also does make you wonder how long Flynn's guy was out there just waiting. I gotta wait for these
Right.
two guys to show up. When are they gonna get here?
Yes.
What are they doing? Charging your
Yes.
machine?
Oh, brother, it's gonna take 4 hours, man. But Flynn's guy leads them into the World's Fair Hotel, which at least to us right away, unless you're a huge fan of that era, realize that it's not exactly a great place.
I had no idea. I'd never heard of this before.
Yeah, we were talking about this, and we talked about the book about it, The Devil in the White City, and I haven't read it. I had a friend who read it, and so it was one of those after that. I'm like, oh yeah, I heard about that. And a couple of you are talking about it in the chat. Looks like other people have maybe watched documentaries about that serial killer or read it. And so apparently, though, the MIT lady's father looked for her for years, and then they found her bones at the house.
Wow.
The house is the house or the hotel. So apparently, she was supposed to have died.
He's killed in more than one place, because I was reading the whole Wikipedia thing while we were doing
Yeah.
the show, and it's like it just goes on and on about the murders and the.
And then you found though too that he actually had that real quote.
Oh yeah,
The show
the
used
quote
it.
that they said. What was it? Where he said,
Devil inside me.
"Yeah, I got the devil inside me. I'm no more. You can't stop me from being a murderer." Or
Yeah.
that whole. Yeah, that was weird.
And then we did say, and we had mentioned something about a movie being made. Someone just said they are, and I'm like, why haven't they made one? It's
Yeah, it
such a
seems
good.
so logical. It's like right there
Yeah,
for you.
you could do a historical fiction on that. So easy.
Yes, I know they've been trying, so hopefully they get it going.
Huh. So you can't buy the rights to the story, so anybody could do a movie on it. I just wonder who's doing it.
I don't know. I know that I can't remember. It was in development. And I can't remember exactly who was attached to it at the
Interesting.
time. Whether they still stick with it once.
Because I was thinking we could do something this weekend if you guys were up for it.
Oh yeah, yeah, fine. All right, yeah, we'll just get All right, we'll get a couple cameras together.
go.
We'll do this.
Let's go.
All right.
It's Hollywood.
And Flynn does tell Lucy as they enjoy their Pabst Blue Ribbon that, hey, guess what? I knew you guys were coming, and we took them over to the murder castle. You know what? That's World's Fair Hotel, but Lucy, you know what it's really called? It's a murder
like,
castle.
"No."
Yes, we've got our boy H.H. Holmes, who's built this elaborate hotel. One of the serial killer before the word was even invented as a serial killer. But he's filled his house with trapdoors, acid vats, stairways that lead to nowhere, and our boy's going to be trapped in there. So if she helps him plant a bomb before in this meeting room, before Holmes, before Ford, Edison, and Morgan get there, then all right, she'll tell him where they're at. So
This guy killed up to 200 people. 9 were, yeah, he was, what do you call it? Convicted of 9. But he admitted up to 27, and they say he killed up to 200 in these weird rooms and stuff. And
Well, and if any of the bodies were burned or in acid, there would be no
he was
evidence left over.
burning them,
anyways.
putting them in acid. He had them in the basement, and he would take everything down. He'd get them down to a skeleton. Then he'd sell the skeletons to
Medical?
to students
That's
and
actually
stuff.
very smart.
He'd
Get rid
sell
of
the
it.
organs. Just weird shit.
well, especially that he's a doctor. He's got all those connections. Yeah.
Is he a doctor? I didn't
He's a
even-
doctor
Well,
and a
that's what
con
Lucy
man.
said. He was a doctor.
A doctor and a
It
con
would make
man.
it so he
What
could
doctor is
probably
it? Not just kidding.
torture people better in terms of knowing what to do without killing them.
That's true. Knowing how the body may react and stuff.
Yes.
But then, so that's already bad enough for our boys Wyatt and Rufus, as they're going to be trapped in this murder castle. But then, if that would be enough for most shows. You know, most shows is like, if we've got a serial
just
killer, a
play that
murder
out.
castle. This is awesome. We've got a possible bomb for Henry Ford, Edison, and Morgan. This is cool. But
Timeless
you know
needs
what?
more magic.
Let's throw in Harry Houdini. And this.
Pun intended.
Yes. This is when the show it went from like this to like even that. Oh, just man, I was just jazzed beyond belief that we don't see Harry
Look
Houdini
what we
there.
pulled out of the hat.
We had a little bit of like, it's not Michael Weston from Houdini and Doyle, because Frank and I did that show.
Oh, that would
But
be
you know
funny.
what? It's kind of okay because this young gentleman is a much kind of younger version when Houdini's very first starting, so I can kind of fudge it. But then he also did a great job. I really liked this guy. He was very entertaining to watch.
And, you know, and speaking of entertaining to watch, I felt like even as Flynn, and he's just in a really sour place about everything that's happening, even he just had a moment where he kind of just smiled and was enjoying the show that Houdini put on. Because he looked back in the crowd, and even he's got a smile on his face just watching this.
He's laughing as well. That was good. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And Lucy as well. Both of them.
It was, yeah, so I mean,
And then, sorry, someone just said this, and I'm like, yes, that's what not, you guys didn't say it this way, but I thought that. When they go into the H.H. Holmes house, the murder hotel, when Houdini says Holmes, I'm like, wait, we have Houdini and Doyle again? And he's ruining the name Holmes from Sherlock Holmes. But it made me think Houdini and Doyle.
that's true. We always like maybe a prequel.
Epic crossover.
Yes. But how cool is Lucy as a fan?
Yes.
Do you get a chance to do?
Oh, she's fangirling so much.
Yes.
She's like, I love
And
you.
what a cool person to go break into the murder castle with, though. I mean,
Right? That's what I want to say.
it's like,
You can
this
get
could
out
be
everything.
interesting.
Yes.
We haven't gotten to that yet.
Yeah, no, and the reason they're going for Houdini is that certainly they need help getting into this super defended room that Morgan, Edison, and Ford are going to be having this meeting at. And so there's going to be locks and stuff to pick. And if they wanted to get somebody into a really difficult space, who's the best person to get is somebody that is known for getting out of tight spaces.
So she had her plan for it, and then she had her plan that she told to Garcia Flynn for it.
Exactly. She was,
Right.
she got a little ahead. Lucy was strategizing there. And so as much as she's a fan of Houdini, she does lead him out and says, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got to do this. And Flynn, at gunpoint. And I do like the first thing is like, I don't have any money. It's like, no, I don't need you to do that. I just need you to pick a lock.
Not your money. Yeah.
You're the best in the world. He kept hearing, I'm the best in the world. You're the best in the world. You're the best in the world. He's like, huh.
Yeah.
Because he didn't quite believe that himself yet.
No. Well,
You
yeah. I
kinda got that,
I
yeah.
do like the showman side of him, though.
Yeah.
He's always promoting. I love that about
Oh,
Harry
you
Houdini.
have been rescued by Harry Houdini. And that's what I enjoyed, too, about his character, is he had that kind of, like, quirky and whimsical, like, charming,
Just starting to own it.
because that's his little dance. I don't know what he did, but it was fun. Like, you go, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and no time did he see like he didn't seem like nervous or like he's like,
No.
oh my god, what was happening? He was just
No.
he just went with everything.
Well, like his phrase, fear is not a real thing.
Yeah.
Because that's not what's happening to you, it's your reaction, which I'm like, that is an excellent way to think about
No,
it.
that's cool. And I figured like as soon as he kind of gave that little pep talk to Lucy, I knew that was going to play at point in some part of the episode.
Ah, look at you, getting
Yes.
ahead.
So we Flynn takes him over to this really cool locked up door with so many different locks, and then Houdini realizes, you know what's smarter? I'm just going to pop up to the ceiling and hop in. I'm like,
Oh, that was great. I love that. And
He
then
didn't-
had
he
his
didn't even think-
gymnastic abilities. He's like,
He didn't even think twice. He just pop, boom, boom.
Yep.
It's gone.
Smart man. Gets him in there, and supposedly the meeting's supposed to happen at 4 o'clock, but guess what? Our three gentlemen show up a little sooner than expected.
I like the Flynn comments. He's like, well, I guess it wasn't it. 4.
Yeah, right.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
And before Lucy and Houdini separate ways, though, she does mention that she's a huge fan again, and that she hopes
yes.
that she can learn the cut purse trick. She'd love to be taught that, and that is just a little exchange between them that we figure is going to pay off in some
Wink,
way.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, and we find out what that phrase actually means because when they're in the room and Flynn is going to pull out the gun to kill our three gentlemen, he realizes the gun's been pickpocketed.
Yes.
Houdini's not only pickpocketed that, but also handcuffed Flynn and has gotten the bomb. That
Yeah,
he's
we didn't
gonna
see that
plant
until
in
the
there.
end. Like he gets that, and then we notice he's handcuffed to the wall.
I
Master
figured
sleight of
it
hand.
was some sort of escape something or like diversion, but I didn't quite know, and so I liked that.
Yeah,
All
It
of
was like,
magic is
aw.
about diversion.
Yep.
yeah,
Sleight of hand.
that was cool and interesting that we never really. I mean, I guess those three guys because Houdini did says you should just get out of town. Just get out of town, guys. So that makes sense why they're not hanging out trying to interrogate Flynn. They just leave him for the cops.
It's
But,
smart.
Again, like you were saying, that little self-promotion at the end. Just
You're welcome. I saved you.
You've just been saved by Harry Houdini.
And it
Here's
was,
my card.
it was cool to see Flynn outplayed a little bit like that.
Yeah.
Something that you don't often get to see on this show.
That's
Yeah,
true.
because
Very
they've
true.
always been like 5 steps behind, so it was nice when they actually could like do something where like, I got you.
Yes.
Yep.
And then we also get to see that even though that they've escaped, Houdini knocks out the guy that's been watching Lucy. Says, you know what? I still need to find my friends. Can you help me out with that? And who better to help going finally this weirdo murder castle than Harry Houdini? But in the meantime, we've got our guys. They wake up. They've been gassed in this rooms, and they find out in this airtight, closed room that's kind of just. They don't know exactly where they're at. They know they're in the castle somewhere, but it's supposed to be soundproof and airtight.
There's so many. Like, I want to share with you just part of what this says in here. If I can find it.
Well, while you're looking, I was going to say I'm semi-disappointed in myself that I didn't realize that H.H. Holmes was the other dude in the basement area, because I kind of was sitting there going, well, what's the point of locking people in the basement if you don't get to watch them sit and suffer? And then
You did say that, didn't you?
I totally said
You still have the mind of a serial killer.
I do, right? You know, because it makes sense if he's gonna torture them and like those kind of things, that you're there and you get to watch it. So what's the point of locking them in there? You don't even get to see like that. I don't feel they would get that same satisfaction. So later when it's revealed, he's like, "Well, I wanted to watch you guys sit and suffer," and I'm like, damn, nabbit. I like thought it, but I didn't. I only had kind of the half thought of like, well, that's weird.
Let me read this to you. Just so you. It says, because of its enormous structure, local people dubbed it the castle. It was 162 feet long, 50 feet wide. The ground floor of the castle contained Holmes' own relocated drugstore and various shops, while the upper 2 floors contained his personal office and a labyrinth of rooms with doorways opening to brick walls, oddly angled hallways, stairways leading to nowhere, doors that could only be opened for the outside, and a host of other strange and deceptive constructions. He was constantly hiring and firing workers during the construction of the castle, claiming that they were doing incompetent work. His actual reason was to ensure that there was only one person who understood the full design of the building.
That's kind of how they do with American Horror Story, but they base it on the Hotel Cecil too.
It's now here's the deal. It says, after the completion of the hotel, Holmes selected mostly female victims from amongst his employees, many of whom were required as a condition of employment to take out life insurance policies with him as the beneficiary. He'd pay the premiums and then he'd kill them and he'd get the money coming in that way. Some were locked in soundproof bedrooms fitted with gas lines that let him asphyxiate them at any time. Some victims were taken to one of the rooms on the second floor called the secret hanging chamber, where Holmes hanged them. Other victims were locked in a huge soundproof bank vault near his office, where they were left to suffocate. There was also a secret room that was completely sealed with solid brick that could only be entered from a trapdoor in the ceiling. He would put them in there and starve them. The victims' bodies were put inside either a secret metal chute or a dumbwaiter, which led to the basement, where some were meticulously dissected, stripped of flesh, crafted into skeleton models, and then sold to medical schools. And he goes on and on and on.
Boy.
Lime pits, acid.
Busy boy. Man, look at H.H. Holmes right there. But it is interesting to put yourself in that situation, because clearly he has a way. He's using up the same oxygen as well. So I'm trying to figure out, like,
Why
is he
would
hoping
he?
that he's going to be able to hold out just a little bit longer than everybody else, and so that he can then leave?
It's a good question.
Like, because anytime he opens the door to try to escape, more air is going to be brought into that room.
Right.
So how does, like, what's his
escape plan
Yeah.
for before he kills him, right?
That's a good question.
Yeah, so I'm
don't
curious
know.
about that. As
Yeah.
well as does he have a little food reservoir, like hidden somewhere behind a brick that he pulls out and it's like, some snacks.
Yeah, somebody in the chat was pointing out that Sylvia says, I had known it was him because I knew most of the story. But I wonder, like, I think they did a good job that I didn't necessarily think, like, it was automatically him. Maybe if they had one more character, it would have made it a little more tricky to figure out that it was that guy.
Yeah.
'Cause
I didn't have
there's
it.
only 4 characters. There's our 2 heroes, and there's a woman and a man, and, like, it's probably not the lady. So if they had one more guy, that might have made it a little trickier to be like, oh yeah, it's that
But did
one.
we really know? I looked up the picture. I'm showing you guys the picture while we're watching it of who the guy looked like.
Yeah, kind of looks like him.
And it kind of looks like him, but it certainly didn't look like the Quinlan guy at the desk.
No.
But I believed it was Quinlan at first, too.
Yes. Okay, quick question about Quinlan for you guys, because I was looking this up and I couldn't find it. It was driving me nuts. He totally looks like the son from Nip Tuck, but when I looked up his IMDb page, it doesn't show him on Timeless, and then on the Timeless episode, it doesn't list that character and what actor played him. So, does it look like that guy to you? And if you've seen Nip Tuck, you'll know who I'm talking about. And if not, what was that actor's name? Because it looks a lot like the guy.
Please, chat room, do this because it
Gosh.
is eating Kari Lane alive.
Oh, I was trying to figure it out. Or comment down below.
You're going to be sitting there at night just going through these chat.
No, I
please,
just-
Who's that guy?
I'll just wait. You guys give me your other comments too.
But what I like though is that even though Rufus and Wyatt are kind of like trapped within there and this family, Sophia talking about she's the first graduate of MIT, the first female,
Right.
And then Rufus said, "Oh yeah, I went there too." Like, oh wait, the name for that was
The other black guy.
yeah, the other black guy.
Did we say that
Robin Taylor?
she was really somebody who died? Didn't you say
Yes.
that? Yes, she was.
She was somebody, and that as Carrie was mentioning, that her father, they looked for years
Somebody
for her,
in
and
the
they found
chat
her
pointed
bones.
out she actually did die, though.
Got
so.
it. So we saved her.
Yeah. So then, but though we get into we get Houdini in the murder house, which is always cool. What I loved about this is it's taking real historical facts and characters
Twist 'em.
and people and just putting them together, and
Yes.
that was so great. I love that.
Because it's like another ultimate level of historical fiction. It's not even just let's take this real thing and do it. It's like no, let's take multiple and like
Let's combine them.
Oh man, this was just hitting all
And, like-
my sweet spots today.
and it works because it's like okay, well if Houdini was at that fair, it's not impossible that he could have gone there, and then that's the perfect person to get out of a trapdoor kind of.
Yeah,
place.
kudos to the writers or whoever
That
dreamed
was
this one
very
up. This
smart.
episode.
Very
Yeah.
smart.
Yes, I really like that, and especially what this show has already showed that they're willing to change history. So I
They
feel like
change it a
you
little
can,
bit.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can do things. You can't always assume that any historical character is always going to survive towards the end of an
Right.
episode.
That's
Well,
cool.
I like getting ahead, but how they kill him too. It's like, does he reveal where the bodies are? No, not really. So kill him anyways.
yeah. No, that's very
Yeah,
true.
no point for him to stay alive.
Here, I'll read this quote. This was the quote from the movie that he really said. It says, I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer no more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor beside the bed where I ushered into the world, and he has been with me since. That's H.H. Holmes.
Wow.
I'll never
a
say
kid.
anything that cool. You know. Using the word "sponsored by my bed," like man, I was like, I would not even come
How
up
could
with
you
that.
think of something like that?
There you go. You got to have that kind
I think
of.
you got to practice
mime.
that.
See, thank you. Someone's like, yeah, he is from Nip Tuck. Thank you.
Oh, it is. You got confirmation.
Somebody, Sylvia, thank you. That's because I'm like, it totally said guy, but it's
Sylvia,
not.
is that real confirmation, or are you just trying to assuage Carrie, just like so she can rest easy
Well, I
tonight?
asked these guys, and neither of them have seen Nip Tuck, so they're like, I don't know who that is.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it's
Say
about.
your sources, Sylvia. We need you to
That's
say
a
your
good
sources in the
show.
chat. All right, we
Yes,
need to see
okay.
that. 'Cause otherwise, we need to verify. So we get Houdini in the house. He and Lucy sticking together, and we do find out that Lucy has an intense fear of tight spaces. And I do like just seeing Houdini just reaching out his hand to take Lucy into the little.
That was
was
super
kinda-
sweet, and
Yep.
just the hand too.
Yes.
Like, come on,
It was cute and magical and kind of, come on, Harry Houdini's.
very adorbs.
So very cool. And I do like that. I mean, our Sophia, our architect, there is able to spot one brick in that whole structure
Yes.
that is kind of
Concrete.
deteriorating and porous. So they're able to at least poke a hole through there to start getting the word out. And that is able to draw Lucy and Houdini there.
So are bricks, some bricks are concrete and some aren't? Is that how it works?
Well, I think it was a different material.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering, is like that a normal thing?
I don't think.
I think you can make bricks from different materials. So different, yeah.
Yeah.
It just got mixed up in the mix.
Because I thought normally the brick is one material, and like the concrete is like
The other stuff.
the connector
The
stuff.
brick and mortar.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Like
that
the mortar
that
stuff.
you could be porous, that you could break through. So maybe this was just designed differently.
Yeah, because the thought was at first for me is that some special trigger or something that can get them in and out of the room because it's made up of something different. But if I guess it just got mixed into the mix, huh?
Oh, and then even the joke of like behind the bookcase, and Houdini's like, "Well, that would be
Way too
too
obvious."
easy." And he's like, "Guess so."
That's kind of the castle.
that was
This castle's
smart,
too
too.
easy for Houdini.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're able to free him. Houdini, of course, like knows. All right, I can do a lock. This is easy. Getting out of this, sure. So he pops the lock, and everybody's free. And you think, all right, that's great. We're gonna go back to the present end of the episode. Not so fast, because Wyatt says, we're not done, and gets our who we think is H.H. Holmes, and Wyatt has got a few words for him. Wants to know what the deal is, and he's denying that he is actually H.H. Holmes, as Chris is mentioning. He's Pat Quinlan. He's even got ID to match, and so he takes him upstairs to meet H.H. Holmes. But then Lucy finds out, guess what? The guy that was in the room with Rufus and Wyatt is really our boy. And he takes her away to the basement, locks her in a box, and is freaking out.
As he does.
And then everyone's pointing out too in the chat room of like that's why she always is nervous on the lifeboat because she's not really a fan of tight spaces.
Yeah, so there's a little continuity
Bit of her
to this here.
claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see how she reacts to it now, though. And now because she uses a little escape mantra from Houdini, and I do like the scene where,
smart.
yeah, because I mean Lucy she calmed down and she really started getting control of the situation.
You're a historian. Use it to your advantage.
Yeah, and that was great.
Oh, so smart.
Playing herself off as a psychic since she knows
that
everything
was
about his past and his future.
Brilliant. She's like, I know you believe in it, so
I'm a spiritualist,
Yep.
or you're a spiritualist, so I know.
I know your past and I know your future.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That was so great. I really like that scene.
This
So
has probably been one of the better episodes.
Yeah,
of
very
just
much so.
so much, so many levels to it that are like rewarding as a viewer. You're just like, yes, yes, yes. Like it's so exciting, and you're like, oh, like it just keeps getting better, you know. And it's not just like, whatever.
But there was stuff to learn too. It's like I can't believe we said that before, but this was that like I had no clue that this guy existed.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's and it's interesting because when they free Lucy and Wyatt's got him at gunpoint and he says, you know what, Wyatt, I know what you're talking about not knowing what's happened to somebody, and Sophia's worried about that with her father. I will confess to everything. Give people that sense of closure. And then he asks Lucy, is that true? She says no. Just lies about it all and sells the story for profit. And I mean, well, Wyatt doesn't just shoot him point blank. He does at least. I mean, he does make a move on Wyatt. So it'd be interesting to see if he had not. Would Wyatt have still pulled the trigger?
I think so. It seems like they're taking this different path now. You know, it's like they're right now. Like he said, we're not done here. And when he said that, you get to see this. There's been a transition in the storyline where it's not. We're not going to just not participate anymore. We're going to be active participants in history, which could be neat for the whole future arc here.
Interesting, but it's also a slippery slope as well because where do you stop?
Yeah.
I mean, certainly this is a
even
horrible
Rufus
human being.
has killed somebody now too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So has Lucy killed anybody?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So.
Yet.
Yeah.
She hasn't joined the club.
No, I mean it's easy to kill somebody that certainly feels like has certainly brought it on as deserving as a really unrepentant human being.
Is it?
Well, sure, I killed.
No, you're good. Just get rid of the serial killer.
It's easy. That's where it's easy to kill.
It's.
And then somebody pointed out, so somebody said the building's not there anymore because somebody asked. Like,
they tore it down, I think. Yeah, and he was going to build another one.
That'd be kind of cool to keep as a like haunted attraction.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know that would be so cool. I think building a haunted attraction after it could be cool.
Well, there's so many structures that still exist that are the
like
real
torture
places.
chambers and stuff like that.
Maybe not torture chambers, but it's where someone's murdered or like haunted ghost towns or like sites
where they're
of
dripping
stuff.
vats of acid and
well, they'd have to adjust it. Yeah, you'd have to clean it out a bit.
For me,
but
it's
you
like,
know,
Come on, like you wouldn't buy that, Chris.
I
Get
know.
out of here.
No, it's pretty morbid. I don't think I'd pay a ticket to go inside the house.
Would you buy it and just live there? Just hang out.
that's I want to say it was almost the Winchester or something. There's one here
The
in
Winchester Mystery House.
by San
Mystery House.
Francisco.
Yeah, and that one was somebody who also built weird staircases
But
and rooms that
but
went
they
nowhere.
didn't kill 200 people there.
But she was a little Looney Tunes, though.
Yeah.
Although
I think you got to be.
people still go to where's that place in where they've got all the skulls and stuff over in Cambodia where they had the killing fields. People go out to the killing fields. I went to the killing fields and you just see these skulls just
People go to catacombs too,
one on
with
top of
all
another.
in like
That's
France.
true.
Yeah, so
You know.
yeah.
I've been to those. It was
Have you?
great. Yeah, just
Really?
just rubbing
Wait,
those in the catacombs down in both in Rome and in France.
Creep you out being around all those dead bodies.
It's really cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there's just something really interesting about them.
Sure.
Yeah. It's just like Indiana Jones, in the Last Crusade, guys. Just like
That's
that.
I bet you that's what they said when they saw you walking up.
That's right. Yeah. Sure.
Wow, these were just catacombs before, and now it's become like Indiana Jones.
There you go.
Oh boy.
So they end up killing our H.H. Holmes. They kill him there in the past. And they come back to the present. We think, oh my gosh, that is it. We are set. But then we get Flynn dropping one last bomb there on the show. Well, first, before we get to that, we get Rufus's moment to shine in the episode. Where
He's great.
Yes.
That's our man.
Yes. With Connor right there in the room, does another recording for Rittenhouse and says, hey, guess what? I'm going to help you find Flynn, but that's it. And if you threaten me, family, loved ones, friends, whatever, I'm out. And
I was
finds
like,
another pilot.
yes.
Yeah, that was.
So glad. I mean, Rufus is slowly like gained traction and standing up for himself and not taking any more shit. So he's kind of like, you know what? I am done.
That's a tough thing to
And
do,
I
though,
was
too.
so
'Cause
happy.
He's not just going up against. That's not talking to a tough guy.
But it's one of those.
That's
He's
talking to
done.
Rittenhouse.
He's done baby steps. Like at the beginning, we all kind of were like, "Oh, Rufus!" Like just things happen to him, and you're just like, "But he slowly is like, you know what? No,
Yeah.
And he drew his line in the sand, and it was like, yo.
And I mean, as you said, like
so
going through what he
happy.
did in this episode,
So
I mean,
happy.
yeah, there's a lot more horrors out there that could be
Yeah.
even worse than being with Rittenhouse.
But even when he said, I chose a side, you should too, that was pretty cool because it kind of throws it over to, what's his name?
Connor Mason,
To
yeah.
Connor Mason. Like, yeah, he should make a choice, you know, but they could very well shoot you in the head when you make the choice, but,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it'd be kind of.
Yeah.
I'll be very curious because after he leaves, Connor just has that long little reflective moment as he's looking out the window.
Which way does he go?
Yeah, I'm curious to see which side he falls on.
Yep.
But then,
He doesn't have the courage yet.
No.
See, that's the
Yeah.
thing. Rufus, I think, has built up his courage to this point. Like, he wouldn't have done this, 5 episodes ago. No way.
No, but you've
But,
seen you've seen the
yes.
growth in that. You can realize,
And-
yeah.
And even maybe built upon the aspect of, their team. You know, they all feel like they have each other's back and they have support. They're not alone.
But it kind of shows you
know?
the difference
Yeah.
between somebody of strong character and somebody of weak character. I mean, it's easy to say when we're standing on the outside because
Yeah.
who knows? You know, they got his
your
family's
life
life
was
over
at
his
risk,
head. Right,
yes.
exactly.
Yes.
But it's neat to see Rufus take that stand. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even going back to that in terms of character, like when Lucy and Flynn are having that talk over the Pabst Blue Ribbon, and she's even saying, like, why are you still doing this? Yeah, I mean, are you going to just spend the rest of your life trying to go and reclaim your family, making everybody kill all these other people just to get your family back? Is that the right thing to be doing?
And she said, you saved people's lives. I read your file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it certainly feels like, I mean, Garcia is still blind with his ultimate goal. He just cannot see
Oh,
anything
yeah.
else other than just getting his wife and daughter back.
He's too narrowly focused.
Well, and it's hard to blame somebody for that too. Like, I mean, it's not hard to blame somebody for going back and killing a bunch of people, but somebody, if they took your family like that, that kind of sucks.
But I wonder if it's going to be like The Time Traveler, where the book, way back when, and kind of part of the movie, no matter what you do, they're going to die anyways.
Right.
Like, spoiler, but not spoiler, guys.
I mean,
It's
everybody
every
dies
time
in
you
some
try
sense,
to
yeah.
adjust it, doesn't matter, they're still going to die. So, even if he saves his family, maybe they'll die another way shortly thereafter.
Yeah,
Just
and-
because you get rid of Rittenhouse doesn't mean, maybe a natural disaster happens or something like that.
No, that's very true. And that actually could be a way that you go into a second season. He does save
Yeah.
them, and they do die
Something
another way.
else happens.
And now he's like, now I've got to stop that. And they're like,
Yeah.
when's it going to be enough? What?
Right.
What? I mean,
Or some other organization.
Didn't we
Yeah.
talk about that when
Yeah.
it's like that movie was Final Destination? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
You're going to die. Like, it's your turn. You're going.
you just die a different way.
yeah.
Just-
In a really cool, elaborate
Oh, they're
Goldberg
so
way.
fun.
Yes. So this episode ends up where Flynn decides, hey, why don't I throw this on somebody else's lap and see how they deal with the same situation? Calls up Wyatt and says, you know what, I'm a man of my word. You help me, get to Benedict Arnold. So I will do what I say, and I'll tell you your wife's killer. I'm a man of my word. And you're
I almost
Wes
thought the
Gilliam.
phone was going to cut out because it sounded steady.
Yes, and the way that the closed caption was, and then, like the pause, you're like,
I was like, oh no, don't make me like your wife's killer is.
I'm in a tunnel. I'm sorry.
They did that with Lucy's father. Come on, you don't have to do it here.
I would have been like, no! Yeah.
But it's a gentleman by the name of Wes Gilliam, and he's serving 2 sentences in San Quentin. And as Flynn says, clearly you can't go back into your own timeline there, so you're going to have to go back before that. You're going to have to probably do something to his parents.
I like that we had Flynn go back to a time period he already went to. Now it's different though because he didn't exist in that time period. He went back to it. Because why can't Wyatt just go back to that time period? Is it just simply because he's already existed in that time period and that's how Flynn was able to? Okay. So he has to go before he was born, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's the moral,
Himself.
it's the moral predicament he's putting him in. He's like, let's see how you like it.
Yeah, because
Would you go back and kill his
And
innocent
kill
parents?
innocent parents, right?
yeah, or even kill this killer as a child. Would you?
Right.
Could you kill it? Could you look in the
Well,
face
he
of a
has
child?
to be older than you.
If he's older than
Yeah.
Your timeline.
Yeah, if he is.
if he's
Yeah.
older than you.
So.
Yep.
So yeah, what are you gonna do? And now we're left with Wyatt to figure out. Okay, I'm very much similar position as Flynn. Do I do what he does? Do I go
But
off the
also,
rails?
do you have some satisfaction knowing he is in jail?
I don't think so.
For
Not
2 other sentences, so it's not like he's getting out anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's paid for it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, not specifically your crime, the thing that happened to you, but it's not like he's walking around having a happy, perfect life.
yeah, and
he
it's
gets
gonna be
free
interesting.
meals. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to take care of himself. Doesn't have to pay the bills.
Yeah, I
No,
know, but
but-
still.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that Wyatt is seen just through the adventures that they've had so far, and just seeing how crazy Flynn has been. That
Yeah.
to kind of try to follow in Flynn's footsteps and say, I'll do it without the crazy part, I still think it's not really a good way to be going.
Nope.
What do you think he's going to do, though?
I mean, that would be in our predictions if we get there.
Well, why don't we do a prediction right now?
you
Josh,
were on it.
quick on the predictions. I love it, Josh.
Woo! Not like our Emerald City day. Hello.
But haven't we seen already, though, that there's an episode that's upcoming where I've read someplace that there's an episode that's upcoming where Flynn and or not Flynn, Matt Lanter, Wyatt and Rufus go rogue and take the ship to go save Wyatt's wife.
I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
I read that someplace.
Well, thanks, Chris. What is this? All right. Well, you brought up the prediction. What do you think? What do you think, Lou?
I think he will. I think that Wyatt will think about going after the guy who killed his wife, but be able to come to terms with the fact that he's in jail and be able to let go, and maybe Lucy will be brought in, and that will be the break.
Now, certainly,
In terms of being able to let it go, like he talks to her about it, confides in her.
Okay, so because certainly we've reached, it seemed like a new understanding with the team is that no secrets anymore.
Yeah.
Do you feel like something like this, is Wyatt going to try to renege on that and say, I'm going to keep this to myself, or is he going to be right up front and tell everybody right away?
That could really go either way.
Maybe they have an argument. Well, they can't really have an argument because Lucy said, "We'll let you. I'm gonna help you to do that," hasn't she?
She has.
But did she say after we get Flynn? So maybe he goes on his own because she won't support him before Flynn is caught.
Well,
I don't know. And then
and this goes back to what Kari was saying. You've got a time machine, so you could wait. You could sit on this information forever, and still, once everything's done, go back and figure it out.
But would you?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then Kim here in the chat says, referring to Flynn, that he's an ulterior motive because she felt she got the sense that it will help Flynn's cause if Wyatt goes back to do something.
Yeah.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, or just at least can see from Flynn's point of view, like can understand at least the blind obsession that he has with trying to do this.
Yeah, you had to wonder why Flynn was doing it.
Yeah.
Is it just because he's a man of his word?
Yes, and I think Rufus is going to be okay because I did love his line, like drop the mic moment, like get another pilot. Oh wait, there isn't one. So I think he has a point if he really holds the cards of like you can't do this without me. So.
But when you get that confident, that could be overconfidence too. I'm glad he did it, but
I think he did it well.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't making terms and demands on them besides just I'm done.
Right.
So, yeah.
Tell him to take a hike, but
That's kind of it.
Yeah, the main objective is they're all after Flynn. They want to stop him. So I don't see why Rittenhouse would just okay, if you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
All right, so look at that, guys.
Wait, you guys, nothing? Come on.
Carrie, you predicted for all of us.
You're
Chris,
so good.
Chris, go ahead.
Well, my prediction was just what I read on the spoiler thing. So I guess it's cheating a little bit. A little bit. All right.
Great.
I'm not bringing anything original to the show. I apologize tonight, but I do think that they're going to go back. They'll go rogue for some reason, and maybe it's I would have to think that maybe they just went the two of them without telling Lucy, even though there's no secrets. Because they just had to get it done. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dabble. I kind of like the idea that we kind of were bandying about there about like some other organization or something else happens to Flynn's family. Because I feel like the show's got to evolve. Otherwise, in the second season, it can't be
to Wyatt's family. To Wyatt's family, you're saying.
Or just it just some different aspect, or it's just a different avenue or different. It can't just be Rittenhouse again. Or I always feel like why are we dragging this out? So at least I would like to see the show.
Did we get a
evolve.
second season?
It hasn't been announced yet, but fingers crossed, guys. I think we're all hoping that we get a second season of this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I guess we'll find out, though, in May when they announce the new shows.
Yeah.
But I think,
Well, it got extended. It used to be a certain amount of episodes, and then they kept tacking on more.
So, I mean, that's certainly a good sign.
Doing well.
Yeah, and we'll see how it does now at it's 10 o'clock time slot after Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
Which, we'll see about that. The ratings for that haven't been stellar. So hopefully that won't drag down Timeless too badly.
Oh, really? I didn't know the ratings were bad.
For Celebrity Apprentice, haven't been that stellar. No.
Really?
So
Surprising.
yeah. Really?
Well, I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. You got a point.
Yeah.
You got a point.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this episode of the Timeless After Show. But as always, like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, for hopping in the chat. We're just watching Kari Lane's phone throughout this, and it's just been scrolling like crazy. Lots of great feedback in the show, so thank you so much for doing that. And as Kari likes to say, what should the fans do even after the show's over?
Comment down below on this video, guys. Let us know what you thought of the episode.
And if you want to continue the conversation with us even after the show's over, Chris, Howard, where can they find you?
Make sure you shower after the show. I didn't know where it was going.
Always shower, guys.
Yeah,
The Chris Howard way.
At Chris
Shower after your
Howard
shows.
Live on Twitter and Instagram.
And yes, you guys can find me online at Kari D. Lane. That's KaridLane.
That's right. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Feel free to tweet to me, like, when do you like to shower? Do you like to shower before you watch the after show? Do you like to shower after?
Definitely.
Folks, we'll see you next week for another episode of the Timeless After Show here on AfterBuzz TV.
All right,
Ciao.
bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.